What is going on, YouTube, Lamont at large? Today we are in the Santa Clarita Valley, about 45 minutes north of downtown Los Angeles. We're going to visit the death location of what many people consider to be the queen of porn. That is one Marilyn Chambers. We're going to talk briefly about her career and how she got her start. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Marilyn Ann Briggs, better known to the world as Marilyn Chambers, was born April 22nd, 1952 in Providence, Rhode Island, but she was raised in Westport, Connecticut. Her mother was a nurse. Her father had a job in advertising. Marilyn was one who always seemed to crave attention. She liked when people looked at her and even maybe stared at her and maybe even gawked at her. When she was in high school, she was voted best student body. So that kind of tells you her attributes and why the guys liked her so much. Now, while she was in school, she was going to Staples High. And when she was about 16 years of age, she got really adept at forging her mother's signature. Now, Marilyn wanted to be a model. She wanted to be an actress. Her father would kind of dissuade her from getting into that line of work because he told her, it's very cutthroat. It's a dog-eat-dog world. There's a lot of competition. Yeah, you might be cute or whatever, but there's someone that are always going to be cuter than you. They're always going to be cuter than you. But she didn't let her dad's words stop her from doing what she wanted to do. So oftentimes she would go in for auditions for commercials and what have you. So she would go to school, forge a note, sign her mother's signature, and then she would hop on a train and go into New York City. And she got a couple modeling gigs here and there. She actually got the part in a small role, but a part in the 1970 movie starring Barbra Streisand and George Segal called The Owl and the Pussycat. Now, I've never heard of that movie, but I'm sure it's quite good. And, Marilyn being a very attractive young girl, the producers of the movie, they sent her out to the West Coast to kind of do this press thing, where they would go to promote the film. Barbra Streisand didn't want to go out there, so she went kind of in her place, I guess. So they go to Los Angeles, and she's looking around, and she really does not like Los Angeles. Fun fact, neither do I. And so they did their little thing, and they head up to San Francisco, and she loves that place. She just kind of loves the vibe and the atmosphere. And she decides at that point in time that she's going to make San Francisco her home. So after everybody flies back to New York City, she goes to her apartment and she gets ready to start packing her things up, loads up her car, and makes the 3,000 mile or so drive out to San Francisco, California. So Marilyn really likes living in San Francisco, California. And now she wants to be an actress, but she doesn't want to live in LA. And LA is the place that you want to be at if you want to get into that field of work. So acting gigs are not going to be as plentiful down in Los Angeles as they would be in San Francisco. So in the meantime, while she's not getting many gigs, she has bills to pay. So she would get different jobs. She worked as a hostess at a health food store. She would work for a dentist, and she would work as a stripper. And so she would do this in between of getting whatever modeling work that she can find. So one day she's reading the newspaper, the San Francisco Chronicle, and she sees this ad in the classified section. She probably looks at that thing like every day, and she sees this big ad, now auditioning for a major motion picture. And she's like, oh crap, what is it? That's right up her alley. So she calls the number, and the lady on the phone, she's like, yeah, we already got a bunch of people. She goes, we're not auditioning anymore people. She said, please don't. She goes, just give me a chance to come down there And she pleaded. She said, please let me just come down there. And she says, okay, fine. She gives her the address. She goes down to the audition. And when she comes in, she sees, probably about 30, 40, 50 people, young women her age, with their portfolios and all this and that. And she's looking around, and she kind of gets a weird vibe about things, if you will. And her bad feelings were correct. This wasn't any kind of normal audition for a major motion picture. I mean, it was a major motion picture, but what she didn't know was that it was a major, air quotes, motion picture for a movie being filmed that involved pornography. Now, when she's told this, she says, oh no, I'm good. I'm not gonna do that. Because Marilyn wants to be a serious actress. She ain't gonna do porn. She says, get out of here. She turns around to walk out. Just as she hit the door, one of the Mitchell brothers, who were very famous in the day for filming pornography, he sees her, right? So Art Mitchell runs down the stairs. And he's like, hey, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. And he said, look, hey, come upstairs. Let's talk. Just, he gets her to come upstairs. He's telling his brother, damn, she looks like Sybil Shepherd. She's really, really hot. So they explained to her the movie. Now, when she first walked into the office, she was not interested in doing any kind of stuff related to porn, because that would make her look bad. That's not going to make you look good. However, they somehow just, made it interesting that, this isn't just going to be a regular porn movie where, a guy falls, his washing machine breaks and the neighbor's like, oh, I know how to fix it. And then whatever they do. No, he says, no, listen, this is going to be like a big budget motion picture style porn film. This is going to be in theaters, and this is, a serious movie, but it involves sex, having sex on camera, porn, what have you. So Marilyn, she does not want to do this. And she says to the guys, she's like, you know what? In her mind, she ain't doing this. She's interested in the movie, and, they're selling her this whole thing like, this could be the start of your career blowing up, and, whatever you're going to do, blah, blah, blah. And they're selling her this, but she's still not interested. So she says, all right, she goes, I want X amount of dollars. I want $25,000. And I want a percentage of the film's profits. Now, the brothers, they look at each other and they're like, yeah, no, take a hike, baby. We're not interested. Hey, don't call us, we'll call you, type thing. So she just gets up and turns around and walks out of the office. And when she walks out of the office, she's kind of relieved. She's like, okay, I dodged a bullet on that one, because I didn't want to be involved in any kind of mess like that or what have you. She goes home and her phone rings an hour later. It's the porn guys, and they said, all right, it's a deal. They said it's a deal, and they met her demands. They had the contract already printed up, ready to go. And she was at first very shocked, because, but she's thinking, okay, why not? I'm already in it now. She signs the contract. So the movie would pay her $25,000, and in the contract, she would earn 1% of the profits from the movie. So for a time, as the movie's being released, she was, on top of the $25,000 she already made, she made about, it'd go up from, $2,000 to $2,500 a month, just checks being sent in the mail. And she ended up doing quite well with that deal. So Marilyn Chambers, still wanted to be considered a legit actress. But, when you're doing adult movies, people are not going to be taking you seriously. So there was a time where she left the porn industry for about maybe 7 years, trying to get like legitimate roles. She did claim that she had talked to Jack Nicholson and Art Garfunkel about a movie that they were going to do And she claims that when she met up with them, they asked her for cocaine, and they were questioning her about if she were faking it in her in her films. Kind of a weird story. So she left porn for about 7 years, and she would come back, and as famous as like her and Linda Lovelace were, they never really quite made the transition to being a legitimate actress. And I think to this day no one has. She did have a small role in the 1977 horror movie Rabid, but other than that, doing pornography and doing tours, book signings, because she did a couple different books. One of them was different sex positions that you can do with your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or whoever. And so she did that. So she made a living doing that. Now, of course, she would develop a drug and alcohol problem, because many people that are in that industry, that's what they do. They, cocaine is rampant. It's rampant in Hollywood, and it's rampant in pornography. From what I've been told by somebody that used to do porn, is that basically everybody's on something. There's no such thing as somebody that's totally sober. You're doing something. And she would bounce back and forth between, doing some kind of like, modeling work. She'd do some kind of independent films, but she'd come back and do a pornographic movie here and there, do book signings, stuff like that. What made her so appealing to people is not, other than the porn thing, is that she had first of all, she was very attractive. She was very sexy. But other than that, she had a very, very good personality. And that's what made her, a big name in porn. And other than that, if she would have never done porn, she could have possibly had made it as an actress. But because she took that money, and hoping that it would benefit her career, in a sense, it was kind of a double-edged sword. So she did end up becoming sober. She would become a member of Narcotics Anonymous. She was married 3 times. In an interview, she said that she wasn't interested in having a kid, but she did end up having 1 child and 3 divorces. 3 divorces, 1 child. And Marilyn Chambers has always been one of those names as a kid when you're growing up and you're watching movies and you're not supposed to be watching that. And she was just kind of like one of the first porn actresses that I've right in front of you. On April 12th, 2009, Marilyn Chambers' 17-year-old daughter found her mother in her room dead. It'd be this mobile home right in front of you. And according to an autopsy report, it said that she died of a cerebral hemorrhage caused by an aneurysm related to heart disease. So that is where Marilyn Chambers used to live, and that is where she died. I forgot to mention earlier in the video, when she was signing the contract for this adult movie, which was called Behind the Green Door, she forgot to mention that after she had signed the contract, she said, hey, I forgot to tell you guys that when I was 17 years old, I got a modeling gig where I was paid to be on the box of the Ivory Snow detergent boxes. Now, at first, the Mitchell brothers, they kind of were like surprised. They're like, what the hell? And they said, well, are you on the boxes now? And she said, I don't know. I did it 2 years ago, and they said it would take about 2 years to phase out the old boxes and bring in the new. They go down to a supermarket in San Francisco, and on all the new boxes of the Ivory Snow detergent is her picture on there. And they actually were quite excited about it because it was used for promoting the movie. And the movie ended up making about $50 million. And again, that was back in the days when they would play porn movies in theaters. So it was like you would go to the theater to watch this movie, which was totally disgusting. By the way, Bailey Sarian, if you're watching, because I know you're a big fan of my channel, you should do a dark history of pornographic movie theaters. As a matter of fact, scratch that thought, I'll do the video. So it was good publicity for the movie. And at first, when the company Procter and Gamble, when they found out that she was, that this young innocent mother on the cover of Ivory Snow detergent was now doing hardcore adult films, they told her, "Oh, we're gonna take these boxes out. This is disgusting," and blah blah blah. According to Marilyn Chambers, during an interview, she said that they threatened to take all the boxes off the shelves, but they noticed that in the sales of the detergent in some key markets went up 40%. So not only did they like that, but they actually extended her contract. Not many people know that, but of course they would keep it kind of under wraps because you don't want to, as a big company, you got a large a large customer base of people that wouldn't buy your detergent. So that was kind of like a hush hush thing. So Marilyn Chambers ended up doing about 25 movies altogether. Her last movie, I believe, was shot in 2000. And after that, she would do some smaller independent films and what have you. But other than that, as this garbage truck very loudly driving down the street. Other than that, she would just kind of continue to live her life. And she died about 10 days before her 57th birthday. So, a sad ending for a woman who was the fantasy for many young boys in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And again, very attractive woman. But I think what makes her more attractive was she just had this very sexy, wonderful personality. And, not many people would know that because they're probably just watching her movies for the porn. But beyond the porn, beyond the green door, beyond the porn, no, she had a very bubbly personality. So rest in peace to Marilyn Chambers. Just a woman who she came, she saw, she conquered. What else could I say? I have no idea. I don't know how to end this video. She was cremated and her ashes were scattered out to sea. I don't know where that is, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? Kind of sad that she ended up kind of living there. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that place. I mean, but you would think a woman that was so famous, you would think that she would want to live in a, in a better area. But I don't know. Maybe she was more interested in just kind of a quiet area where the rent isn't expensive and she doesn't have to worry about dealing with Hollywood nonsense. All right, okay, I'm out. Got to head back to Los Angeles. Catch up with you on the next video. Peace out.